The Battle of the Atlantic was one of the most pivotal and longest-running battles in the history of warfare. Spanning from 1939 until the defeat of Nazi Germany in 1945, this battle was not just a naval conflict, but a battle of logistics, supply lines, and the survival of nations involved, most notably the United Kingdom. It was a strategic contest of immense significance because it determined the flow of essential resources for the Allied war effort, guaranteeing the survival of military campaigns elsewhere, most notably the planned invasion of Western Europe. As an island nation, the United Kingdom was heavily reliant on maritime routes to sustain its population and military forces. After Germany declared war and launched its military campaign across Europe, Britain immediately initiated a naval blockade against Germany, seeking to cut off its ability to import crucial resources. However, Germany quickly retaliated with sophisticated tactics, most notably the use of U-boat submarines that could operate stealthily beneath the ocean's surface, launching surprise attacks that inflicted severe damage on Allied merchant convoys. In the early years of the war, Germany's U-boat fleet successfully attacked Allied merchant vessels, causing devastating losses to Britain's and the Allies' vital shipping routes. These U-boats operated primarily in the vast expanses of the Atlantic Ocean, executing the wolf pack tactic, wherein several submarines would coordinate and attack a single convoy, simultaneously resulting in significant casualties. The devastating damage to the merchant fleets led to severe shortages in essential goods, especially for Britain, whose survival was dependent on a constant flow of supplies. The Battle of the Atlantic was not only a confrontation between Germany's U-boats and the Allied merchant ships, but also involved the mighty Kriegsmarine, the German Navy. The Kriegsmarine deployed powerful warships such as the battleships Bismarck and Tirpitz, the heavy cruisers Scharnhorst and Gneisenau, as well as destroyers and raiders. These warships were not just capable of attacking merchant vessels, but also engaged in direct combat with the Allied naval forces. In response to the relentless U-boat attacks and the threat posed by Germany's surface fleets, the Allies were forced to implement increasingly effective countermeasures. The Royal Navy, the Royal Canadian Navy, and later the United States Navy deployed escort ships to safeguard convoys, and these ships were equipped with anti-submarine weapons such as depth charges and sonar, which helped detect and destroy the submarines. Additionally, the Allies developed radar technology and deployed anti-submarine aircraft, which significantly enhanced the ability to detect U-boats at greater distances. Another critical factor that helped the Allies gain an advantage was the decryption of the German Enigma codes. By breaking the German encryption system, the Allies were able to anticipate U-boat movements and counteract German attacks, dramatically altering the course of the Battle of the Atlantic. With the United States entering the war in December 1941, the Battle of the Atlantic entered a new phase. The U.S. Navy not only contributed more warships, but also introduced new tactics, enhancing convoy protection capabilities. These tactics included improved escort systems, the use of aircraft carriers, and the deployment of fighter aircraft to protect convoys from German aerial and submarine threats. By May 1943, the Allies saw significant progress in improving their anti-submarine technologies, particularly with the advanced development of sonar and radar systems, which allowed the detection of U-boats with greater precision. Moreover, the Allies launched sustained air campaigns using long-range bombers and anti-submarine aircraft, further degrading the effectiveness of the German submarine fleet. The culmination of these technological advancements, along with the superior coordination between naval and air forces, resulted in the destruction of a significant portion of Germany's U-boat fleet, thereby significantly reducing the threat they posed. By the end of 1942 and early 1943, the tide of battle began to shift dramatically in favor of the Allies. Thanks to technological advancements, new tactics, and the coordination between air and naval forces, the once feared German U-boats were increasingly neutralized. As the U-boat fleet was decimated, the Allied convoys, now better protected by escort ships and aircraft, were able to successfully transport essential supplies, ensuring the continuation of the war effort. Despite these victories, the Battle of the Atlantic came at a high cost. Around 3,500 merchant ships and 175 warships of the Allies were sunk, while Germany lost 783 U-boats and 47 surface ships, including the mighty battleships Bismarck, Tirpitz, and Scharnhorst. This was the price of Germany's maritime war, which consumed vast resources. Germany had poured an extraordinary amount of material into producing U-boats, neglecting other crucial military vehicles, like tanks and aircraft, which ultimately contributed to its defeat. The Battle of the Atlantic was not just a conflict of logistics and maritime warfare. It was a global struggle that determined the course of the entire war. Britain, isolated and facing constant threats from Germany's naval and air forces, required millions of tons of supplies each week to maintain its war effort. Once the U-boat menace was diminished, the Allies successfully protected their convoys, and resources began flowing freely to support other theaters of war, especially the planned invasion of Western Europe. As Prime Minister Winston Churchill famously remarked, "The only thing that ever really frightened me during the war was the U-boat peril. I feared this battle even more than the Battle of Britain." The Battle of the Atlantic did not end with a single victory, but represented a gradual but decisive shift in momentum that would ultimately lead to the downfall of the Axis powers. The Allies' ability to secure their vital supply lines and outmaneuver the German forces was a crucial element in their victory in World War II. When the war finally ended in 1945, the Battle of the Atlantic had not only proven the importance of naval supremacy, but had also reshaped the course of modern naval and warfare strategies. The development of technologies such as sonar radar and air-dropped depth charges became a cornerstone of future naval operations. While the Allied victory in the Atlantic did not immediately end the war, it ensured that the Axis could not achieve victory by cutting off the flow of supplies. The success in this battle allowed the Allies to continue their war efforts, eventually enabling the D-Day landings in 1944 and the subsequent liberation of Europe from Nazi control. The Battle of the Atlantic ultimately underscored the crucial importance of maritime power in modern warfare. It demonstrated the complex interdependence of naval, air, and intelligence capabilities, as well as the strategic value of logistics in warfare. More than just a battle for the control of the sea, it was a battle that shaped the outcome of World War II, guaranteeing that the Allies would be able to press on with their campaigns across Europe, North Africa, and the Pacific. In the end, while the Battle of the Atlantic was a victory for the Allies, it came at a tremendous cost, with over 30,000 lives lost in the struggle to secure vital supply routes. The sacrifice made by the men and women involved in the battle, whether on the front lines or in support roles, is a testament to the global effort that ultimately led to the defeat of Nazi Germany and the Axis powers. The Battle of the Atlantic remains one of the most significant and difficult campaigns in military history, embodying both the sacrifice and resilience required to overcome one of the greatest threats humanity has ever faced.